Let me know.
All right, go.
Hi, this is Jimmy Lemke at Panther U. We celebrated the men's basketball victory over Green Bay by getting tickets and going to the women's basketball game tonight at Green Bay in the beautiful Kress Events Center on campus at UWGB. We decided to take this time at halftime to come check out Dick Bennett Court, where Green Bay's men's basketball team practices. Now, if you'll see over here, you have an entire room that's just set aside for the men's basketball team. Women's basketball has its own court elsewhere. We just ran into Brennan Kugel, who told us that occasionally the volleyball team will practice in here, but almost 100% of the time this is a men's basketball only facility. Now this is what you have to know what we're recruiting up against, because for men's basketball you have the court, but then you have a net surrounding it, and then next to that is another court where the women's basketball team or volleyball team is practicing, and then there's a net around that. And then there's a track around that where you get the pounding on the floor of all the track runners. And then in the corner, they have a net set up so the baseball team with their metal bats can take batting practice. Now this happens almost every day inside the Kalachi Center. And if you can imagine that, it's pretty loud. The pings of the bat, the runners stomping their feet, coaches from all sports yelling instructions. But here at Green Bay, everything's walled off. There's no noise. If Coach Brian Wardle wants to say something to a player, he can say something. There's no problems here. They have nothing. And this is how practice is for 9 of the 10 Horizon League schools. At Milwaukee, it's not. At Milwaukee, we have to do what I just described to you. And that is a major, major problem, not just in training, because you only have 2 hours a day on the court to themselves. And it's not really to themselves because there's other stuff going on. And then they have all the other stuff going on, like intramurals. I once was at a basketball practice where they got kicked out because the intramural dodgeball team needed to come on at 7 o'clock. I'm not lying to you at all. And this is the difference, is that we don't have that. And at Green Bay, they have this, where they can take however long they want to practice, and it's fine. However long they want individually, team, I mean, as long as it's within NCAA bylaws, everything's game. At Milwaukee, we have this thing called shared use, where our men's basketball program has to share with so many other teams and students for intramurals. And you wonder why the free throw shooting isn't as great as it is, because the building's only open from 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. and the players can't get a hoop most of the time. And people wonder why schools will always point out Milwaukee's facilities. Look at this. This is Green Bay. As a UW institution, Green Bay does some wonderful things, but it is clearly an inferior institution overall. I mean, we're a school that has 24,000 more students than this place, in the biggest city in the state, and this Kress Events Center with practice and game facility for volleyball and women's basketball. I mean, if they wanted to, they could have added 1,000 seats and made it a men's basketball arena too, and everything would have been great. Places like this, especially in our own system, in our own state, just make me feel terrible, because if we had this, if Milwaukee had this, game over for everybody else. So I guess that's just why I wanted to give you guys who read Panther U a look into another school's practice facility, because this is Green Bay, and this is 10 times what we have at a school that is 10 times this place. All right?